Hey there. Maybe you're hearing this story in the middle of a restless night, or during a day that seems normal on the outside, but inside your heart feels unsettled. You've been fighting quietly, praying, fasting, obeying, but instead of breakthrough, all you see are closed doors, heavy exhaustion, and old temptations creeping back in. If that sounds like you, then maybe, just maybe, it's not a coincidence. Maybe you're standing at the edge of something holy, and that's exactly why the enemy is throwing everything at you. Today, I want to tell you a story that might sound ordinary at first, but hidden within it is a truth many people miss. The storm always rages the loudest right before the breakthrough begins. Not a fairy tale, but a real-life journey, one that might just mirror what you're walking through right now. This is the story of a man named Eli Matthews, a quiet music teacher who thought he was losing everything, when in reality, he was standing at the threshold of his greatest spiritual breakthrough. Eli was 32. He taught music at a local high school in Texas. Nothing flashy. He didn't preach. He didn't lead thousands. He was just faithful. But something had begun stirring in him. He couldn't explain it, but whenever he prayed or worshiped, a fire would rise inside. He started waking up early to journal his prayers. Fasted for the first time in 5 years. He'd weep in the presence of God for no reason. One night, after a worship night at church, Eli stayed late, kneeling in the back corner where no one could see him. He whispered, "God, if you want to use me, I'm willing." In that silence, something shifted. Not an audible voice, but a holy weight fell on him. And in his heart, he heard, "I'm going to use you, but you must stand firm when the winds rise." He didn't fully understand what that meant, but he would very soon. Just days later, he was laid off without warning. A budget cut, they said. The same week, his car broke down on the way home from church. He had to walk over a mile in the rain. That night, he got a message from someone he hadn't heard from in years. The one he had fallen into sexual sin with 3 years ago. The one who nearly derailed his walk with God. "Just checking in. Been thinking about you. Miss the old days." His heart jumped. That very night, he had just finished his first day of fasting. He had been pressing in like never before. And now, this? Maybe she's changed too? It's probably just a friendly message. "I'm lonely, not sinful." But something in his spirit stirred. He didn't reply. He tossed his phone across the room. And then, the dreams began. Each night, he'd have vivid dreams of past sins, old addictions, explicit images, wild parties. He'd wake up ashamed, confused, feeling like he had actually sinned. The enemy was planting seeds, not just temptation, but guilt. He couldn't worship. He couldn't pray. He began skipping church. When his best friend Jonah asked what was wrong, Eli just said, "I think I'm falling back." Jonah looked at him and said, "Maybe you're not falling. Maybe you're being fought because you're close." Eli blinked. "What do you mean?" Jonah leaned in. "You didn't notice? You've been seeking God harder than ever, and suddenly, everything goes wrong. That's not a coincidence. That's strategy. The devil isn't attacking you for your past. He's terrified of your future." That night, Eli read Matthew 4, where Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, not when he was weak, but right before his ministry began. He remembered Job, who lost everything not because he failed, but because he was chosen to prove the faithfulness of God. It started to make sense. This wasn't life falling apart. This was spiritual warfare. Attacks came from every direction. His bank account dropped to nearly zero. His mother got sick back home. A close friend suddenly stopped talking to him. His mind became clouded with doubt. Did God even speak to me? Was I just imagining it? Maybe I'm not chosen. Maybe I'm just crazy. One night, drowning in confusion, Eli typed out a message to Jess. Maybe just as friends. She believes in God too. I just need someone to talk to. His finger hovered over the send button. Tears welled up. And then he heard that whisper, that fatherly tone. This isn't about right or wrong. This is about obedience. He deleted the message and wept. The next morning, during prayer, he read, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest." if we do not give up. Galatians 6 verse 9. A few weeks later, his pastor invited him to speak at a youth night. Just 10 minutes. A short message. He was terrified, but agreed. Then, the chaos hit. Intense stomach pain the morning of. Lost his voice. Car wouldn't start, again. And worst of all, that old whisper returned. You're not ready. You're not good enough. Don't make a fool of yourself. Eli felt like quitting, but he remembered Job. He remembered that even in silence and loss, God was watching closely. So he knelt down and whispered, God, I'm not strong enough, but you are. He borrowed Jonah's car and drove to the church, still weak, still trembling. When he stood to speak, something broke open. His voice returned. His message flowed like water. The room was still. Tears fell. Something holy was happening. After the service, a teenage boy walked up, eyes full of tears. You don't know this, but your message saved me tonight. I was going to end my life. But God used you to stop me. Eli stood frozen. His knees shook. That night he knew. The storm wasn't pointless. It was proof. 1 month later, Eli was asked to lead worship full-time. 2 months later, a ministry contacted him to teach music to orphans. 3 months later, he met Amira, a woman of prayer and worship, who would later become his wife and co-laborer in ministry. The breakthrough didn't come as fireworks. It came as peace, as clarity, as open doors that could only be explained by God. And now, Eli tells his story everywhere he goes. But he always starts with this line, you'll know you're close to your calling when the warfare intensifies. And he always ends with Romans 8 verse 28. All things work together for good, for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. He smiles and says, don't be fooled by the fire. The storm you're in is not destroying you. It's revealing you. The enemy is terrified, because what's coming through you will shake hell. That's why he's fighting like never before. And now, dear friend, if you're battling temptations you thought were dead, if you feel more discouraged now than when you started, if it feels like your prayers hit a ceiling, you might be closer than you think. And that's why it's gotten so hard. Don't give in. Don't go back. Don't believe the lie that you're not enough. You were not built to break. You were built to birth something eternal.